What? Um, I asked somebody, but I bet they would probably be happy to let you do it. Maybe. Ask. I asked Dane to do it, but you want me to ask Dane if you can do it? Okay. So.
Good morning. Welcome here in the sanctuary. Welcome online to the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg's Sunday worship service. We're on the unceded ancestral lands of the Tocobaga and Seminole Native Americans. This past week, Buddhists celebrated Vesak, which is the celebration of Buddha's birthday. May 12th was also founding day for the Unitarian Universalist Association, and since that's the day that Unitarianism and Universalism merged or consolidated or federated in 1961. Finally, yesterday was the International Day Against Transphobia, Homophobia, and Biphobia. My name is Ben Atherton Zeman. My pronouns are he and they, and I am excited for today's worship service. Those of you who were here early heard the Bell Choir. The Bell Choir is performing. It's our annual meeting following today's worship service, and today's worship associate is John Motter.
Thanks, Ben. I am indeed John Motter, and I use he, him, his pronouns. If you want a church where you don't have to impress, where you aren't required to have a certain job or degree or title, where you don't have to believe a certain way, but want a church where you can be just exactly who you are on that day, then I have good news for you. You may have found your church home.
Thanks, John. Speaking of who you are, we love children. We love neurodivergent adults. We love children, and children can stay in the sanctuary. If you're a parent or a grandparent with a kiddo, they can stay here the whole time, or they can go to their classes once we greet our neighbors.
We have one announcement today. The UU St. Pete annual meeting will take place after today's worship service. Go get your coffee treats and register just outside the doors if you've been a member here for more than 60 days. And then please read the rest of your announcements in the order of service in our weekly and our monthly newsletter and on TV in Gilmore during coffee hour.
Now, as Unitarian Universalists, we are people of diverse beliefs, but we share a common faith that every being is worthy of love, that what we do in this world matters, and that we are connected. We're connected to one another. We're connected to the earth. So whoever you are and wherever you are in your journey, you are welcome here.
Allow me to give a special welcome to our newcomers. If you are new to St. Pete or even relatively new, can you give us a wave? Welcome. If you'd like, please briefly introduce yourself. Reverend Ben will bring the microphone to you so those on YouTube can hear you and hear what you're saying. You're under absolutely no obligation to say anything, but if you're willing, we'd love to hear from you.
My name is Brianna.
Thank you.
Good to see you again, Brianna.
Good morning. I am so happy to be here. My name is Angela Herring, and I'm very new to St. Pete. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi there, my name's Maddie, and I also just moved to the area.
I saw a hand before. You want to say hi?
Hi, I'm Ruby.
Nice to meet you, Ruby.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for silencing your cell phones regarding masks. Again, if you would like to wear one and are comfortable with them, they're available at either of the entrances. And now at this time, it's for us to turn and greet our neighbors, say hello to someone new today, and please remember to get consent if you're going to hug or shake hands. How are you doing? short service anyway.
Yeah.
There you go.
What? You ready for go now in peace? Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere you may go. Now please rise as you're willing and able for our first hymn, How Could Anyone? It's number 8647. That's not right. 8640, no, that's not it. It's number 1053, 1053 in your teal hymnal. Thank you for laughing at my 8647 joke. This is by Libby Roderick. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Please remain standing for our chalice lighting. When Kelly lights our chalice, I invite you to say our covenant out loud. It's in your order of service. But before we do that, I want to share some words from feminist author Bell Hooks, who I'll be quoting from a lot today. All around me I hear testimony that lovelessness has become the order of the day. Hooks says, I feel our nations turning away from love intensely. Turning away, we risk moving into a wilderness of spirit so intense we may never find our way home again. I write of love, Hooks says, to bear witness both to the danger in this movement and to call for a return to love. Redeemed and restored, love returns to us. Love returns us to the promise of everlasting life. And now our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. You may be seated.
We come to the time in our worship service for joys, sorrows, and concerns. Those of you on YouTube Live are not in this room, but your presence is still felt. Please type your joys, sorrows, and concerns into the text chat. If you have a joy, sorrow, or concern to submit during the week, please write to Reverend Ben at minister@uustpete.org.
I want to thank Christine Shurowski for placing the stones in the water for each one that was submitted. There's still time to fill out your card and bring it up here, or have a neighbor bring it up to John or me. First, a stone of sorrow from Kelly DeGraw. Kelly says, I was let go from my job yesterday. After 6.5 years, or 25 years in the healthcare education system. A stone of joy also from Kelly, who is now on a scheduled vacation to Las Vegas. The vacation includes visiting her sister, then a women's national bowling tournament. Kelly will be back in 9 days and would appreciate some vibes of stability for her near future.
We have a stone of sorrow. Wes Stevens died this week at the age of 94.
Yep.
He was a minister here at UU St. Pete from 1974 to 1993. The funeral will be private and will take place at Wes and Barbara's son's home.
Now, each week we celebrate a person or a team that has done extraordinary work to advance our mission. And this week, again, it's the folks who have been filling in for the sexton while we are still looking for a sexton. So if anyone knows anyone who wants to be a sexton for this church, please send them my way. In the meantime, we want to thank Jeff Bambro, Sabina von Allach, William Cowan, Johanna Zeman, Joe Wedman, Danny Bly, Jimmy Gilmore, and probably many others that I don't know about. Thank you for your work. Reggie Craig.
Oh, there's still more. Christine. Yep. You thought you got away. A stone of joy from Katie Bray for Ruby Rose's 3rd birthday is on Tuesday, so happy birthday to her.
Go ahead.
And a stone of joy from Paul Showalter. Getting to watch Katie dance at her recital yesterday, she did great. And then a stone of sorrow from Brianna Cochran. My mom died a year and a few months ago. And a stone of concern from Chris McDonald. The shopping mall at Dauphin Landing at St. Pete Beach burned down on Tuesday, destroying the CVS and Publix. Many very nice folks in all the businesses I deal with regularly have been displaced and will be I'm not sure what, the businesses had just recovered from will be relocated, I'm sorry, will be relocated. These businesses had just recovered from the hurricane wipeouts. The chains will be okay, but several small businesses are probably permanently destroyed.
Thank you, John. Let's place one more stone, Christine. And this will be for all the joys, sorrows, and concerns that remain in our hearts. Maybe they're too tender to be spoken out loud. And let's do our responsive reading. The words can be found in your order of service.
May our hearts not become calloused by the never-ending incidences of oppression and hatred that so many face each day. Rather, may we keep our hearts open to the positive efforts of so many people causing good trouble in the world.
May we have the strength to demand and gain the right for all people to have a safe place to sleep, health care to keep them strong, and the knowledge that their lives matter. The struggle
is taking longer than it should, but we will get there if we continue to strive for basic human rights.
May all of us find a comforting and compassionate presence in the warmth of fellowship and the warmth of community, because the mystery is that we're connected even when we feel apart. So let's rejoice in this beloved community that makes of the many one, and let's take about a minute of silence together. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Our reading today is an excerpt from Beatrice Brutto's Radical Optimism, Rooting Ourselves in Reality. If you are like me, you have never heard of Beatrice Brutto. She earned her PhD in philosophy from Fordham University in 1954. Her work centered around interspirituality and contemplative thinking. Her work brought subjects like science, mathematics, philosophy, and religion into conversation with one another. She studied the texts from multiple religious traditions, but particularly those from Buddhism, Christianity, and Hinduism. Radical Optimism is probably the most notable of her 12 books. It was first published in 1993 and in an updated edition in 2002. Our problems with unhappiness are rooted in the imagination. For instance, we can interpret somebody's accidental sharp tone of voice as an unfriendly reaction to ourselves. Begin to give that person in our imagination as someone who doesn't like us, and therefore be on the lookout for subsequent evidence of hostility, and be ready to interpret everything that happens in that light. And of course, ourselves show distrust and unfriendliness in turn, which naturally have their effect on the other person. And so by building this thing up in our imagination, we can develop a whole atmosphere and relationship of hostility that may be completely false and unnecessary because it all began from something quite accidental. Similarly, by persistently thinking well of persons, looking for good traits in them, imagining them as pleasant and agreeable, well-disposed towards ourselves, we will enable ourselves to behave in a naturally friendly way to them and elicit friendly responses.
Thank you so much, Bell Choir. Unitarian Universalism has 7 core values. They are turning off the microphone. do you mind turning that off manually in that one too, so I'm getting a little whisper of feedback. Thank you so much. Much better. Our other values are justice, say it with me if you want, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, all with love at the center. Exactly so. Now, a couple of you are new, and maybe you're new to Unitarian Universalism, so I will let you know that we are not a denomination that has a creed. You don't have to believe any particular thing to be a member here. And pluralism, one of our values, most exemplifies that. So we have Buddhist UUs, Christian UUs, Muslim, Sikh UUs, pagan UUs, and a lot of UUs are just trying to figure it out. Maybe that's all of us. Since today is our annual meeting, I'm going to focus on the main UU value of love, and specifically how love helps us build a beloved community and how imagination helps us love one another. Our theme for the month is the practice of imagination, and we began by imagining a higher power. At the beginning of the month, we imagined a higher power that helps us through hard times rather than inflicts or condones harm. And then last week, 2 of our mothers, one of whom I see, Sandra and Allison, helped us celebrate and reimagine motherhood. I began today with a quote from one of my favorite people, feminist icon Bell Hooks. Now, Badra Elia and I have had the good fortune to meet her, so you can ask her and me about that sometime. All great movements for social justice, Bell said, have strongly emphasized a love ethic. Bell Hooks challenges this cultural idea that love is something we fall into or receive by chance. Instead, Bell defines it as a conscious daily practice rooted in respect, effort, and accountability. So love is a verb more than love is a noun. Hooks says, through giving to each other, we learn how to experience mutuality. Giving is the way we learn how to receive. The mutual practice of giving and receiving is an everyday ritual when we know true love. A generous heart is always open, Hooks says, always ready to receive our going and our coming. I want to talk about 3 stages of a loving relationship: the joyful, affectionate love, love through conflict, and then finally love at the end of life. For each of these stages, I'll also address how imagination can enhance our love and our relationships. So joyful, affectionate love, probably the easiest stage, the breathless flush of new romance, the laughter with good friends, the honeymoon period when one joins a new church. Now, during this stage, the face of our beloved is always the most beautiful, radiant thing we've ever seen. Every word that comes out of their mouth is wise and funny. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? John quoted Beatrice Brutto earlier, and I think it's an example of how our imagination can strengthen our love. By persistently thinking well of persons, Brutto says, looking for good traits in them, imagining them as pleasant and agreeable, well-disposed towards ourselves, we will enable ourselves to behave in a naturally friendly way to them and elicit friendly responses. Social psychologists call this self-perception theory. And sometimes it works better than other times because all loving relationships come with conflict, don't they? We hope for a good conflict to joy ratio, But all relationships come with conflict. If a couple wants me to marry them, I ask them, how do you resolve conflict? And if they say, well, we don't have conflicts, I ask them to come back to me once they have. I've talked about Lucinda and my first fight. We were in a car trip. A lot of our fights are on car trips. And we witnessed an altercation at a rest stop. We got back in the car, and I wanted to call the police. Lucinda did not. We argued back and forth for a while, then lapsed into sullen silence. After a few moments, I said, hey, that was our first fight, wasn't it? She said, yeah, I guess it was. I said, how did it go for you? She looked at me like I had three heads. But we ended up agreeing that it was a fight. It wasn't comfortable, but it went pretty well. We stayed on topic. We didn't bring up issues from the past. We didn't name call. And then we gave each other space until we both cooled off. I was more excited about my relationship with Lucinda after that fight than I was after a romantic dinner. Because to me, the measure of a love relationship isn't how good things are when they're good. They're always good when they're good. To me, the measure of a love relationship is how tolerable things are when they are hard. This community has had good times when the love flows easily and we see the best in one another. This community has had hard times when conflicts are many and people leave. Again, imagination can help us. It can help us love during times of conflict. Bell Hooks says, love is an action, a participatory emotion. We must move beyond the realm of feeling to actualize love. Hooks says, this is why it's useful to see love as a practice. When we act, we can trust that there are concrete steps to take on love's path. We can learn to communicate, to be still and listen to the needs of our hearts, and we can learn to listen to others. Now, I cared about winning that argument with Lucinda, but I cared more about Lucinda, and I cared more about our relationship than I did about being right. And during our 24 years of marriage, we have consciously practiced loving one another, much in the way Bell Hooks describes. Now, this kind of love isn't for everyone. We've all probably been in relationships or friendships where the other person left once there was conflict. There are folks who leave this church when there is conflict, but our leaders in this church, in this congregation, are asking you to stay when there is conflict, to prioritize this community and our love for one another more than being right, to commit to our community covenant, which gives us such a lovely roadmap to work through conflict based on our love for one another, based on our love of this beloved community and our essential work together. Finally, love at life's end. In any beloved community like this one, we will face death. We will face our own death. We will face the death of those we love. And again, this might be a time when some will not be able to stay connected. Death is very triggering. Lucinda has a friend whose boyfriend dumped her when there was a death in the friend's family. He said he just couldn't handle it and left her without a partner during a time when she needed one most. Many of you were here yesterday during Sula Donalow's memorial. You did not dump Lila, who is sitting here amongst us. Many of you supported her as she grieved, as she celebrated, as we celebrated her mother's life. And here again, imagination can help love's bond. I was honored to be present in the room the moments after Sula died. There were roses next to her mother, and Lila took the petals of the roses and handed me some and gestured that I should help spread them petal by petal around Sula's body. Janae was doing the same. Lila was doing the same. Others in the room were doing the same. We took about a half an hour to gently and carefully surround our beloved Sula Donalo with the flowers that she so loved. It was a beautiful, imaginative, creative way to mark the occasion. Thank you, Lila, for letting me be a part of that moment. We need love and we need imagination, especially when we face death. We need love and we need imagination, especially when we are in conflict. We need love and we need imagination every day if we are to succeed as a beloved community. I'll close with more words from Bell Hooks. We learn compassion by being willing to hear the pain as well as the joy of those we love. Hooks says the path to love is not arduous or hidden, but we must choose to take the first step. If we do not know the way, there is always a loving spirit with an enlightened, open mind, able to show us how to take the path that leads to the heart of love, the path that lets us return to love. Thank you all for choosing to be a part of this beloved community. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.
We give, excuse me, we give to remind ourselves how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. And we give because we believe in music and sacred space. We give with the faith that together we have enough. Here in the sanctuary, the offering will now be given and received.
That which is given in love, we receive with great joy. Thank you. Please rise as you're willing and able for our closing hymn. It's number 1064, Blue Boat Home. You can move the microphones or you can just lead it from down there. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions to the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor the wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
You may be seated. Our closing words are from the Reverend Dr. Bill Sinkford, former UUA president. Spirit of life and love, dear God of all nations, there is so much work to do. We've only begun to imagine justice and mercy. Help us hold fast our vision of what can be. Maybe see the hope in our history and find the courage in the voice to work for that constant rebirth of freedom and justice. That is our dream. Now please remain seated as the hymn plays our postlude. We invite you to follow along with the hand gestures. Am I missing a page? Sorry. We invite you to follow along with the hand gestures. Light of truth, warmth of love to the heart, and fire of courage with their fingers. As Trish Birch extinguishes our chalice, the words to USP's traditional chalice extinguishing are in your order of service and online in the text chat. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of courage. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world. Our worship is over, but our service begins. Please join us for coffee hour in Gilmore, and if you see someone not talking to anyone, maybe go up and say hello to them. And then please come back for our annual meeting here in the sanctuary. We hope this time together will help you through your week and will help you remember you are not alone. And again, when you come back into the sanctuary, there'll be registration tables. They'll be just outside these doors so you can register. Thank you.